Hello and welcome to the show. We are back here on BeamNG Drive with a returning fantastic old series. Yes, we are going to be doing some more driven till destruction. The aim is simple: drive as far as possible with various cars around a highly destructive circuit until the car can no longer drive. For whatever reason, whether that be snap driveline overheating, buckled chassis, losing wheels, many weird and wonderful things are going to go on. It is fantastic fun, and we're going to see how these various vehicles break. Now, we have a completely new circuit. This one's built by Tom Peth. A big thank you for building this wonderful track that has some new obstacles that we shall see as we go around. And now we're going to reset the distance. So this total distance is going to be what measures, although there is sometimes a little bit of discrepancy that we will adjust for. If cars get broken, for example, this can sometimes run a little bit funky, but we will see how the vehicles go. So we have speed bumps, first of all. It can be a bit punishing for the old suspension. We have some big jumps going on here, like this. That's immediately a falling over. Now, the rules for the vehicles as we are going. If the car rolls, I'm allowed to recover it using the node grabber. I'm not allowed to turn the engine off, though. Oh, and if the car gets damaged in trying to roll it over, then it gets damaged trying to roll it over. Yeah, I'm not allowed to turn the engine off to save the engine. Some damage, that's the punishment, if you like, for falling over, but it can be righted. If a vehicle can no longer steer, so if we lose front wheels, we can't physically steer to make the course, that'll be counted out through steering. Now, I have to drive the cars hard. I'm not allowed to simply trundle around here at about 10 miles an hour because everything will last indefinitely around this one. I've got to be driving the cars as quick as I physically can. As cars get damaged, they'll have to be a little bit slower, but up until that point, I have to be driving flat out. We are already in a poorly way, although that's more related to the bumper. So if bits of debris get stuck under the car, I'm allowed to lift the car. It's actually quite a good example here. We are allowed to lift the car up to try and free bits of bodywork that are causing issues. In this case, we have got a bit of front bumper. Oh, actually, like the sump guard or something. Whatever it was, fell under the car. It was actually lifted in the front, so I couldn't steer it. That's fine. And if a vehicle gets so poorly to the point where it can't if it can't go above about 20 miles an hour, it is then counted out. It's a cruel rule. It basically stops heavily damaged vehicles from driving indefinitely because they are so broken that they can't actually physically damage themselves anymore. This is one of the big new obstacles that we have to contend with. This is the spinners. Now, I have it set to, they're about 40% throttle around there. They're going quickly. If I get hit by them, they're going to hurt. They might not insta-kill you, but they are going to hurt. And that's going to be a test for heavily damaged cars. At this stage, my car here is not too bad whatsoever. This is the new little hatchback thing, or newish hatchback thing. I haven't played Beam for a while. Yeah, this isn't too bad yet. The steering is just about okay. However, after a couple of laps, if you start to have steering issues, trying to get your car through that, it's probably going to be a fun time. I have started to get steering issues with this. The front right wheel is pulling very badly outwards. The front right wheel is not in a good way whatsoever here. Come on, let's get around here. We've got this is a big drop off, and that's a painful drop. It's not a nice comfortable jump, but that's the point. The cars are supposed to be taking punishment, if you like. They're supposed to be getting hit around here. The radiator is always a concern for vehicles. I think this is a front-wheel drive car as well, so we're landing on the front is potentially risky. We lose a wheel, we'll lose drive to the car. Fuel tanks can get ruptured, we can run out of fuel. But yeah, the radiator we want to try and protect, if at all possible. Not there's a huge amount that I can do with that one, and that is going to be a lap around this circuit. So, that's actually a really big jump. That's a really big jump. That's quite a nasty hit on the front of the car. There we go. We'll spin it back around. It's pointing in the correct direction now. Yeah, we've already got a poorly front wheel. Thankfully, that's landing on the other side of the car at the moment. Now, if we can keep landing there, then that is good. A little bit shorter lap around here than we have had from some of the destruction circuits. And this car is actually doing pretty good. This car is doing pretty good, I have to say. Although, as I say that, we've lost the front wheel. The front right wheel is gone. Now, we are still currently drivable. Although, if we cannot get the car up this hill, we're allowed to go off the course a little bit, that's going to happen, but we have to be able to, you know, make the corners without grabbing reverse. I have to grab reverse to make a corner, unless we've had, unless we've got like fire, we've had a big roll or something, we can grab reverse then. But if the car is physically requiring a reverse to get through corners, that's going to get me in trouble. I think this might have problems with the spinners now. I don't know if we're going to have the steering to get through the spinners. We can't just, reverse and do a 5-point turn to get into them. We may lose the wheel across this bumpy section here. Clonk, clonk, clonk is fine. Can I turn the car? So, like, for example, here we bounced a little bit wide. It's not going to be immediately counted out because we've gone into the sand trap, but we have got to be able to get it turned and get back on the course, and we are having some real difficulties here. Come on, car. There we go. How on earth am I going to get you through the spinners if you're this bad at turning? It doesn't really turn well out in the sand, that's for sure. Can I still get you through the spinners? Oh, we're going to clonk off the wall. Oh, okay. It wasn't spinning the wheels how I thought it was going to, but that's fine. We are going. Ow. It's just clonk, clonk, clonk all the way around. Maybe we need some second gear. Oh, we're not very quick anymore. These jumps might not be a fun time for this car. The front wheel is in all sorts of... Oh! Okay, it crunched. This jump here is about to be very painful as well, I suspect. I'm amazed the radiator's still holding up. One of the brakes has got... I mean, the front right wheel has done some weird things. It's not snapped the drive shaft, which is unusual. It's like buckled the wheel in, but the drive shaft is still in one piece. I mean, here we actually get away a little bit. We don't really want to bump into the wall, but we have kind of got away with that a smidge through here. This is just dragging itself around at the moment. Sure, let's... Oh, God, bounce our way a little bit through here. This could be a bad place, depending on how we fall off of it. I don't know whether... I almost want to aim to land on that iffy wheel, because if I land on the good wheel, we're really in trouble then. But, of course, I think if we lose that wheel entirely, we could have some bigger problems. Like, if we lose that whole front wheel, I think we lose drive. So the front-wheel drive cars, generally, if you lose a wheel, the diff won't let it be a one-wheel drive car. Some do. Some, they've got better diffs, will, but not very many have. I don't know anything about this car. That's part of the fun. I don't know much about this vehicle. I don't know what we're going to see from this car. Actually got some speed up down here. Almost. We're to 30. The giddy heights of 30 miles an hour. Now, across the jump we go. God, that sounds so... It sounds awful. It really, really does not sound particularly good. This jump here is also a pretty big one. It's fine. We've landed it. It still keeps on. It's still keeping on going. We've got smoke pouring off of somewhere. I think that's still the wheel. Possibly is still that front wheel. Is it the brake, perhaps, over there? The wheel's kind of flapping about. It's not quite as buckled in as it was. And it's still quite poorly. The car is just fighting itself at this point. Which is probably not for the best. But, it's still going. It's still going. We're on to another lap here, which I didn't think was going to be the case. Oh, okay, now we are stuck on some rock. So we are allowed to grab reverse here. I actually just pinged it off the rock. Went in there with some speed and it just bounced when it hit. Now, I'm allowed to drag the car. If a car gets beached, for example, we are allowed to drag the vehicles free of being beached. That's to not punish cars with low ground clearance, for example. Can we actually get out of these rocks, or has that... Is that wheel... Oh, I have a feeling the wheels may have betrayed the car here. I have a feeling one wheel's like flipped inside out. Now, is this just a beached car? If it is completely beached here... I haven't actually, in testing on this, I have never seen a vehicle get beached on the rocks. So I don't know whether that is... Oh... Do we still have drive? I'm trying to figure out whether one wheel's spinning one way and the other's spinning the other way, and it's going to fight itself to the point where it's not going to move. I think it is. I think we've actually inverted the wheel. I don't think that's beached. I genuinely don't think that's beached. I think that is fighting itself. Now, there is one way to test this. We are just going to... Oh, it might get a little bit busted on the way out. Here we go. Yeah, that is dead. The wheel has twisted itself inside out, so it wasn't the rocks' fault at all. That was the car saying no more. Technically speaking, if I put it in reverse, will it go forward? No, that will go backwards. That's it dead. That is it dead. I mean, I don't even know how to write this down. What's counted out on this? We've never had it. Only Beam could we have an inverted wheel running the opposite direction, preventing us from going forward. That's a stuck car. That's a poorly car. That's a car that's not going anywhere. 3.9 miles. Not a terrible showing for the vehicle. Spectacular, nevertheless. So, the Chariot is the one to beat after that fairly impressive first showing. We're going to go for a Sunburst next. I mean, this is a fairly straightforward. This is a sort of mid-tier. It's an all-wheel drive Sunburst. It's a 2-litre turbo. It's nothing crazy. This isn't ridiculously fast. It's just kind of a normal, more normal road-going car. All-wheel drive is good around destruction circuits in general. All-wheel drive is a helpful thing to have. Why? Because, well, if you lose one wheel, the car's still going to drive. You know, you lose a front wheel, you're still going to have some drive. Lose a back wheel, you're still going to have some drive. So all-wheel drive is generally quite strong. Now, a slight downside for the Sunburst in some regards is it's quicker than the Chariot. Now, what does that mean? Well, the faster the car goes, the heavier it's going to hit the jumps. Now, that is a downside. That is just how it works around this course. Around these courses, you have... I've got to drive as quick as I can with the vehicles, which means with a fast car, you are going faster in some of these obstacles. But that is just the way that it goes here. The Sunburst, I mean, this isn't a crazy fast version of Sunburst. In fact, it's quite understeery through these long turns. Oh, God, like there, for example. We're going to actually drift a little bit wide. Oh, bounce, bounce, bounce. We're fine. Okay, first lap's not looking too terrible. Into the spinners we go. We are perfectly healthy through there, so we didn't have any problem. Actually carried some good speed. It's getting the depth perception right there is difficult. It's a real risk versus reward kind of a thing there. I would say risk versus reward. You know, if you carry, plenty of speed through there, it's easy to just clonk your way into something you shouldn't have done. Oh, we have a nice landing up there. Oh, wasn't expecting to see that. I thought that was going to be quite a decent landing. It wasn't. We've now got a front-wheel drive, so we know what I said about bloody all-wheel drive being good. Well, now we're a two-wheel drive car, although, we have a backup drive shaft, kind of. I mean, that would have taken out... That makes me slightly concerned for something like the muscle cars, for example, that will be rear-wheel drive, or the rear-wheel drive vehicles in general, that they may see drive shaft snap on that jump. And this isn't the quickest car either. It's got some speed about it, but this isn't the quickest car we're going to have around here. And if that's jumping that far and clonking out the drive shaft, we'll have to wait and see what happens to things like the Moonhawk and so on. Radiator is gone, so we have our first loss of radiator. This isn't the biggest radiator killer that we have seen, but it is always a hazard, of course. Lose the radiator and your car is going to start overheating. That is just the way it is going to be. If the engine gets too hot, it is going to shut off. Now, the chances are a lot of cars are going to get wrecked long before we have that as the cause of death, although, this car is doomed, if you like, at this moment in time. Oh, we're going to bounce it across there. I do feel like we've got some front left suspension damage. Certainly something in the suspension is unhappy in this car. It seems to be diving a lot through the corners. We don't really turn left very well anymore either. Also, to be fair to the vehicle, I suspect the geometry and all of that is completely knackered because it's not supposed to be a front-wheel drive car, this. It is not supposed to be a front-wheel drive car at all, and we are currently driving it as such, and that isn't great. So, there we go. Let's get turned around here. Oh, still got a big old understicker. Just not as much grip in this car as I thought there was going to be. Now, with a bit knackered steering, we're not going to be chucking it through here quite as quickly. Oh, God. It's fine. We are through. We are out the other side. Temperature still looking pretty okay. It's still sat around the middle point. Nothing too terrible. We will keep foot down here. We'll go for a big old... Well, it's a big old jump. It's not that big of a jump there. This is the big jump here, really, that we want to get. Decent landing. I mean, it's a heavy landing. I guess that's what took out the drive shaft. But we are okay for this. Spin the wheels a little bit through here. Again, nothing too terrible. Temperature's starting to creep up. If it sits at the top for a little while, it is going to blow the engine to bits. There's nothing I can do about that. We're not allowed to stop and cool the car down or anything like that. Oh dear. I mean, I say that as we plummet off the edge of the Okay, I got a lot more understeer in this than I was expecting. In fact, temperature is now starting to get quite hot, which is not particularly what we want to be seeing. Although it's not going to overheat before it gets to the point that the Chariot got to. It is going to last that long in terms of temperature. Whether it's going to last that long in terms of everything else, because it is hitting really hard at the moment. It sounds just so horrific. Piston rings have been damaged. Oh, maybe the engine isn't going to last as long. So I think a lot of things have changed with Beam's damage model, how it all works, since I last did one of these series, which is always why they're fun to come back to. We've actually lost front left wheel. Front left wheel is gone. We are down to a solitary wheel. Now we have to still be able to go quick enough. Oh, this is bad news. This is really bad news for the overheating as well. Have I lost steering? I can't turn left, I don't think. I have a horrible feeling we might be out with steering damage here. If I can't get the car back on the road, which I don't think I can. Oh, here we go. We're inching our way back towards the road, but we're wasting time now. We're wasting time trying to get back onto the road with the car. Oh, there's bushes. I have a feeling we might be dead with steering-related kerfuffle. I've got to try and pull it off the bushes. The drive-throughable bushes is the better question. If I can't get you back on the road here, I'm trying to use a little bit of handbrake. Now, we're not a million miles off the road, and we have some left steer. I have enough left to kind of coax it towards the road. Here we go. Oh, that's solid. That's not climb-upable. Have I bent the wheel? I might have bent the wheel free a little bit. I'm surprised this, again, is letting me drive. It's not snap the tie rod. It's not snap the drive shaft. Technically speaking, it should snap it all at once, let's face it. You couldn't have the drive shaft at the angle the wheel is currently at, but on Beam, apparently, yeah, it's like the tie rod that's gone. Oh, engine's gone. Engine's gone. It's about the same distance. Oh, no. We found some life. Why did that just stop going? It gave up. The oil is overheating. We are going to go further than the Chariot. Now, as I said, the distance indicator is not always perfect to do with, A, how you drive around the course. I think also, if the vehicle takes damage, they can sometimes take a little... Oh, I'm not going to make this corner. I'm not going to be able to get out of here, I don't think. I think that might finally... I think that other wheel is so far pointing inwards. Yeah, it's going to drag the car off. That's a steering failure. It has got a little further, but I'm never going to be able to pull that out of there. That has had catastrophic steering failure. Unless we can do... I mean, technically that is allowed. I can roll the car back if it's on a hill, and if I can get the other wheel to cooperate, can I get it back on the course? That's a very fortuitous little moment there. We are still... I mean, we are clinging on to... I'm not going to be able to get it through the roller. Oh, come on. No, wheel. I want to go this way. Oh, yes, the sand. It's clinging on to life, goddammit. Do not give up now. Do not give up now, little Sunburst. Just, can we get you into the spinners? I mean, it's going to get destroyed in the spinners because I don't have the steering to make it through there. We can't cheese it like we have been here. With a little bit of handbrake or with a little bit of the sand. Amazingly, the engine's actually cooled down because I've not been going quite quick enough. We are going quick enough not to ping out on the cruiler rule. We are still clearing 20 miles an hour. But we are still doing it. It's about to be the first death by spinners, I think, unless I can get the car... Oh! Oh! Can I pull the car out? No way. Oh! Okay. Oh, dear. I think lost the steering again. It's the smallest of clonks that has sent us off, but I couldn't steer that one away again. I think steering wise it is done. I think steering wise it is out. The Sunburst, I'm amazed it got it through those spinners, really. But another vehicle with some steering failure. 4.5 miles, it does go further though. Final vehicle to run today. We have gone for a classic American vehicle. This is the Barstow. Now, it is notorious for its drive shaft being weak, which is a concern for me, but we're going to have a go with this one. 4.5 miles is the target to beat, set by that mid-tier Sunburst. This is, again, a mid-tier Barstow. This is a 350 something or other. So it's a V8 manual gearbox. I will run manual gearboxes unless I absolutely can't, owing to game sometimes not putting it in the right gears for this sort of stuff. This is, at the end of the day, not quite what the auto boxes were intended for, shall we say. So yeah, I will generally run manuals if I can. Now this, of course, will have plenty of power. Good things about it, has wobble-matic suspension, so very soft suspension, generally good. These older suspensions, generally good for absorbing the bumps. They generally survive a little better, although if they do fail, so like leaf springs, great up until when they fail. When they fail, it is catastrophically bad normally. My concern, of course, with this car is the drive shaft. Radiator may well get hit at some point, yes, and there is quite a lot of weight over the front, so you do often take a fair chunk of front-end damage. The Barstow, I believe, is one of the chassis that's actually capable of being cut in half, but we're not going to see that unless we've completely lost steering heading through here. Oh. We get out the other side, no problem. I had a little panic, but there we go. And we've got these little sort of speed bumps through the bank corner. They should be no problem for this sort of a car. It's this jump. This is the concern for me, because we are going to be going at a decent speed. Now, we are going to have to kind of get it under control on the dirt, because it's rear-wheel drive muscle car. Please land cleanly. It does. Okay, first time around, it has landed that jump quite cleanly, which is good. Nothing too bad. It's clonking about a lot, but that is to be expected. Just see if I can notice any sort of suspension damage on the car. I've got to be careful. I don't want to particularly over-rev the engine around here unnecessarily. Now, this is also another jump where we may see damage done to a car like this. Please don't shatter the drive shaft. It didn't. Didn't take out the radiator either. The rear left looking a bit cambered, possibly, or it might have been how it's compressing over the bumps. I would be surprised if they are taking damage. The rear left's definitely a slight bit poorly, and again, another big crunch for the vehicle. The other thing with these big old American cars, they are heavy, of course, which means there's a lot of weight when crashing down onto the ground over these jumps. Nothing they can do about it as such, it's just going to happen. Oh, again, fuel tank is another real concern. These tend to have the fuel tanks hanging out the back, quite easy to actually rupture them. Oh, that's a bit nasty on the side, but we're still going. We've completed a first lap with the Barstow. Now, it is possible the Barstow has had its drive line updated. Oh, okay, over-revved it a little bit there. Didn't mean to. From back when we used to do this, so maybe it is a little tougher, more in line with the likes of the Moonhawk. The doors are flapping. The suspension's weird. The suspension's a little unhappy, but that's okay. We'll clonk our way through all of this. That's fine. Here we go. Into the water section. Oh, the exhaust has been damaged. Doesn't bother me. It just makes the car a little bit louder. Doesn't affect our ability to get around this course. Definitely doesn't seem something right. It's definitely leaning the car. I can't figure out quite what bit. Something on the left-hand side's gone. Left-hand side suspension. Could be front, could be rear, could be a combination of both, to be honest with you. Let's go far across these bumps. It's just going to clonk and clonk and clonk a little bit more, but we are across. All is good. Now, into the spinners we head. I have actually just taken out a door. Oh, that's fine. I had to be a little careful in that. Again, I don't want to just drive, especially a car like this that is quite healthy, I don't want to just run straight into them, of course. So we've got to be a little careful. I guess the door comes off. We're saving some weight. You know, we've got a slightly lightweight car. We are now starting to pull to the right-hand side. Oh, that's bad. So a bird has just flown into the window. Jesus, that scared the crap out of me, and the drive shaft has died on the back of the car. The drive shaft has gone. I feared it would in the Barstow. I feared it would. It survived the first time pretty well. It took a battering, to be fair. It did take an absolute battering. Yeah, the clonk you heard was a bird, actually, just clonked the window in my office. The Barstow has lost a drive shaft. Surprise to probably no one. But it did. We got 2.8 miles. It survived the big jump the first time. The second time, we had a big wobble approaching the jump. I couldn't quite get the car settled. I guess the chassis got buckled just to the point where the engine, you can see the engine's now starting to point down a bit, and it's just the right angle to snap that drive shaft. The Barstow, I mean, it did okay. It did okay around here. For what it is, I thought it might die on the first time around, so could have been worse. But there we go. That is the DT Proving Ground, I think was the name. I've actually completely forgotten it because I'm an idiot. But this is going to be our new home for Driven Till Destruction. As I said at the start, thank you very much, Tom Peth, for building this wonderful circuit. The Sunburst is going to be the early leader with that steering failure. Will be interesting to see how various vehicles fare around this course. And yes, see what can survive this one. It's always entertaining seeing how the vehicles fall apart. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.